Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to On Your Mental. This is the podcast that shares candid, open, sometimes vulnerable conversations between about men. I'm keeping this intro short. Today we're talking long-distance relationships. That's all you have to know. Come along for the ride. If you like this episode, leave a like, comment, and there's a new thing you can do if you want to show some support for the podcast. There's a new feature built into YouTube called Super Thanks. If you want to leave, it's essentially like a donation. I'm not asking you to do it, but if you're thinking, hey, I want to show these guys some love, we'd really appreciate that. Anyways, we hope you all enjoy this week's episode. If you're not already, make sure you're subscribed, and we'll see you in a moment when it starts. Peace. I could never get into NASCAR or any of that stuff. Is that what we're talking about?
No. Well, not NASCAR.
Formula One. What's the difference? NASCAR is those box cars, like
left turn, left turn, left
Right.
turn, left turn.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not Formula 1.
That's not Formula One.
That's
Formula
tracks.
One's fast.
Formula One is. Oops.
I feel like I'm there now. Well, is that Lewis Hamilton? Is that his name? Lewis or Louis?
Yeah, Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, no, I don't bother with any of that stuff. I don't like cars. Cars scare me. No point in investing in a sport like that. I'm just gonna be scared.
Every day, Reuben gets into his car screaming for the whole 1 hour ride.
Yo, Crazy Frog. We were talking about it
So
before you
good.
got here. So for the listeners, I found a CD. Well, my mom found a CD in like an old collection, like a bunch of CDs, like a stack. Like, you ever get those as a kid? Like you had like the zipper one, right? And it's
Oh,
just
yeah, with
like
the
a catalog.
plastic.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
each one of them's lined, right? So you don't have to keep the actual CD case. You just have this stack of CDs. There was like YTV, Big Party Mix, all this stuff. There was
Big Fun Party Mix.
Big Fun Party Mix. Was that what it was?
That's what it's called.
There you go, YTV Big Fun Party Mix, Remix, Reloaded, or whatever it was.
What was the other? Kids Bop?
Oh, yeah.
Kids Bop was like one of the ones back in the day. I didn't have the CD, but yeah, Kids Bop was one of the ones. I had
Good times.
there, in that same case, Yu-Gi-Oh! Music to Duel by.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's buying these?
What?
I was apparently
Really?
as a
Music
kid.
to duel by.
Yeah.
Yo,
Duel.
I mean, that would probably
yeah,
sound
you have to
pretty
bring that
intense.
out.
Yeah, probably. I'll put that in the car next time.
Yeah,
And
just
then
on the
one
way.
of them, I had Shrek in there too, from the original soundtrack, and then of course Crazy Frog, which I was playing for all you guys.
So
And
Shrek
like,
2.
no, just the first soundtrack. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Crazy
Still
Frog
pretty-
is just one song, right? It's just
No,
one?
Crazy Frog is the group.
Oh.
And then Axel F is that song that everyone knows.
That's what the song's called? Axel F.
Wait,
Yeah.
What's
Crazy
going
Frog
on?
is a group?
Yeah.
I thought it was just the frog.
No,
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, it's like the frog's not real. First of all, it's a digital
saw him.
frog. It's a CGI'd frog. So I don't
Well,
know about
Or
that.
I saw him.
No,
Explain that.
he was there on a screen. No, I'm pretty sure it's like a production kind of deal, like a producer. Somebody made it. It's not real.
But the song's called Axel F.
Axel F by
I
Crazy
always
Frog.
thought it was Crazy
Yeah.
Frog.
That's
No. The group was Crazy Frog. But then you were saying, Jess, imagine back in the day, like you're going to like a music festival and this is the peak of EDM. They
you
start
imagine?
playing Crazy Frog and everybody's losing their minds. Bing, bing.
Like, everyone's just fucking bopping in the crowd.
Man,
That'd be crazy.
I would have such a good
I
time.
feel like the closest thing to Crazy Frog was that that Fox song.
Oh, what the
Oh.
fox say?
Yeah.
What does the fox say?
Yeah.
That's true, yeah. It was
Yeah.
just this, like, silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was,
And they did
Was
that
that
gummy bear
EDM?
one for a while.
I don't know what the hell that was.
that was like meme music. Like that wasn't even a
Yeah.
real song. Anyways, today we're talking about long distance relationships. Bada bing, bada boom.
Oh, it's
Great
all
segue
related.
there. That was all related. What song would you want to listen to on a long road trip to go meet your long distance relationship? Crazy Frog. So welcome back, Shandy. Welcome back, Jesse, onto the podcast. And Shandy, you're gonna hit us with some knowledge to start things off, at least some recollections of experiences. So first question's for you, Shand.
Oh.
Would you right off the bat? What was your experience like in a long distance relationship? If you could sum it up.
I think putting it in the most simplest way, it was hard. There was nothing bad about the relationship, but I'd never do it again because it's that hard.
And that's the end of the podcast. We'll take it.
So I did long distance for almost 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
from 2018 to 2021. So a little bit through the pandemic, which actually kind of worked out in our favor. But basically, I met this guy, my ex, on a dating app, and
Don't have to say it like that. X.
X.
X Factor.
Simon Cowell.
That's
He,
annoying.
Met your ex on a dating app.
Yeah, and so I mean, it kind of worked out because he's originally from here, and he just did school on the East Coast. So like, he did have a reason to come back here, besides me.
Mm.
He was doing school on the East Coast. I was obviously here. You know, people are like, "Oh, you know, do you trust him?" Like, trust is like a huge thing with long distance relationships. But with that specific relationship, I didn't really have anything to worry about when it came to trust, thankfully, because I think that would just obviously make or break the relationship, especially being like on the other side of the country.
Yeah.
The time difference thing was kind of a factor in a relationship because he was always 3 hours ahead.
Mm-hmm. Trying to line up your FaceTimes or
Yeah.
whatnot. Mm-hmm.
Towards like the end of our relationship, that didn't really work out. But like, I was in nursing school, he was in school. When he would go to bed, it would kind of be like me time. Like, I could, like, you know, finally study, or it's just hard because the time difference thing, and you know, to go see him would be a 5-hour flight.
And so did you start dating here then? Like, you met him here, or was it like when you matched on the dating app, he was already in the East Coast?
No, so he was here. He was actually like in town, like seeing his parents, visiting his parents. And then
His bio.
Yeah.
Just in town for a week.
Yeah.
Like, show me around.
Classic bio.
Classic.
And it's funny because when we first started talking, he was like, "Hey, I'm only here for like 7 more days and then I leave for Europe." And I was like, "Okay, like whatever happens." And then I kind of got a little taste of how other people do long distance.
Disrespect, man.
So
This
sorry.
guy.
I'm
Sorry,
so
everybody. You
Like-
kind of got a taste for what it's like to do long distance.
Like how other people do long distance. Like, you know, mine was only 3-hour time difference with like a 5-hour plane ride. But when he was in Europe, it was like a 10-hour time difference and like a 13, 14-hour plane ride.
Right. So that wasn't gonna.
No, there was no, I mean, if I were to do that, there's no way, because like there's no time for us to talk to each other. Like, when he would go to bed, it wasn't even like he was just waking up. Like, the time was just so off.
Completely flipped.
Yeah.
Like, how often did you guys like visit each other, if that ever happened?
So he would always come back in between like school. Like, he would be done a block and then he'd come visit. And like, you know, we talked about the relationship and like how it would be, how we could make things work. And like, it was very promising.
Like, the prospect of the relationship sounded good. Like, just in the conversation.
Like,
we can do this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you know.
It'd be no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 years later.
I mean, it's the right mindset to have going in.
Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
True.
Right.
True.
And like, I really appreciated the fact that he was like willing to like reassure me through the whole way and say like, okay, like, we can do this. I'll, you know, you don't have to pay for everything when you come over. Like, it'll be like a split thing, like a shared thing. So yeah, there wasn't really anything bad about the relationship. It wasn't for me. And like, the thing with you is that you kind of have like a definite day when you're gonna see your partner again.
Have a timeline.
Right?
Yeah.
But with my relationship, it was like very much in the air, when like I didn't really know when he would be coming back. Like, I don't know how long his blocks were all kind of different lengths.
There's like some randomness to the way that you were like being able to maintain a relationship, right? Like, you didn't have structure on top of the distance. Like you pointed out my scenario, and for
Yeah.
people listening, watching, like my partner just left for 107 days. Like I know the exact number of
Here we
days
go.
where she's gone. There you go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Left for 107 days on Friday, so that's just 4 days ago now, and or just 3 days ago, I guess. Hey, and I know that she's coming back for a weekend in July, and then she goes away and comes back in September, right? So I know dates,
Yeah.
and that's kind of how we're working around it too. Like when her and I were talking about it, it's like we're prepared for this in the sense that we know that this is only for a limited time,
Yeah.
right? Whereas in your case, he's studying there and living there.
Yeah, he's studying there, living there, and then like after school he would like he doesn't know where he would work. It all depends on like
Could work on the East Coast.
yeah,
Might not ever
exactly.
come back.
Yeah. And like I didn't like that at all because there was so much uncertainty, and like nothing bad about the East Coast, but I just can't picture myself living there. Like the winters are just so extreme.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like that's such a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, we got it nice over here in Vancouver.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, listening to everything that you're saying there, I think that you've touched on multiple points that come up whenever anybody talks about long distance relationships, the stressors around things like a time zone difference, the travel time to be there, having to like make the commitment to even connect and talk. Like that's like a strain in itself. And you're just off sync, you know, like it's kind of hard to build a routine when you're on different parts of the world too. You don't see each other as often as well. And I'm sure that was maybe strenuous on the relationship. Yeah.
In a way, it actually kind of worked out to my favor because like I was in school and he was in school. I could focus solely on school, and like I wouldn't have, you know, like to hang out which would cut into my
You can see how
study
much she
time.
loved him.
Yeah. So yeah, it kind of worked out in that way. And like I could completely be my own person, and like I was super independent.
So how long were you guys together before he left?
What do you mean?
Like how long was he here for when you first met?
Yeah. Like how long were you guys like before he left too? Where'd he go again?
He went to Europe first, and then he went to...
So everything was kind of within like a month.
Fast.
Very
Yeah.
fast.
I didn't want to say it,
Biggest red flag.
not necessarily red
Yeah.
flag.
Sometimes fast is okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like
When it's F1, fast is good. Yeah.
yeah, it was yeah, you know, in hindsight, yeah, it was pretty fast, and like even I was like, what the hell am I doing? This guy can literally be a murderer, and I'm already visiting him out.
Hey.
This guy sounds swell.
Yeah. Good man. But you said nothing really wrong with the relationship. And that's the thing that we're going to focus on today in our conversation with all of us here, is about the idea of long distance relationships. That's the little aspect we're going to focus on, right? A relationship is one thing, but then when you add in a component of distance, that's
Fat component.
it can
Huge
change the dynamic of the relationship quite a bit. So for all of us here, first of all, thank you, Shandy, for kind of getting
You're
us caught up a little bit on your experience. Do you have something to add?
Yeah, I
Yes.
do. Just like comparing like your relationship, you guys established something here, and like you guys, you know, learn to live together and stuff like that, and hang out and like be physically present. But like when I started the relationship, it was already like a long distance kind of thing. So like that's the only thing I ever knew about that relationship. So I
Right.
feel like it's a little bit different.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I wonder if it's like easier in that sense. I don't want to say easier, but like
because it was all you
comparison to-
knew.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't know, maybe.
I mean, you didn't really
Kinda.
have to compare with like in Reuben's case.
I'll touch on that later, but like
Yeah.
whenever he was here too, it was almost kind of like oh my god, you're here, and it was like something I'd have to adjust to.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because as you say that, that's making me wonder, like if there was more time here, would you have known sooner that this was not the relationship for you? Does that make sense?
Maybe.
If you had spent more time together and like been in each other's direct presence,
Yeah.
like you could have noticed other things about how you're compatible earlier on.
Maybe.
Who knows? I'm throwing out garbage.
Yeah.
Anyways, for the rest of us here, and to summarize for our listeners, our audience here, the kind of dynamic we've got in this group of four here right now. Shandy had been in a long-term, long-distance relationship for about 3-ish years. Jesse and Kabir both have not been in long-distance relationships, correct? Yes? Correct. Fist up. And then myself, I am just starting a temporary long distance relationship because it's just a change in my current relationship. We met here. She's been living here. And this is now for 107 days that I'm starting this. And I have my initial thoughts on it. But that's my question for all of us here, and maybe even Shandy too, like having had your experience now, talking about long distance relationships today. What are your initial thoughts on long distance relationships? Maybe Jesse and Cabs, y'all can go first since
Difficult.
difficult.
Yeah.
It just sounds difficult. Sounds like a lot of effort that I wouldn't want to put in unless there was like, let's say I was in the relationship for like several years.
Yeah.
Not several, maybe a couple of years at least, in my opinion, before I'd want to dive into that. That sounds very difficult.
I think there'd have to be like a situation like where Reuben's in, right? Where there's going to be a return. Like it can't be for like ever almost. Like I wouldn't want to live on separate sides of the world.
Right.
Of this person or the country or sometimes not even really the city, right? So I think it's, you know what I mean? Like in your situation, if it's a long term kind of thing, right? I think long distance maybe only works for a given amount of time.
A set duration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way that you'd see it now then,
Mm-hmm.
Shan. Yeah.
Because there's no way I would
Because
ever.
like, what kind of relationship is that? Like,
without
is
actually
it,
being
like, I'm just thinking, like, is that even a relationship if you're not seeing this person?
I think it is. Absolutely.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Like,
So I don't
mean,
see,
like, you know, the companionship, like, even though he wasn't physically present, like, you know, we were always on FaceTime. Like, he would, you know, be here. And, like, he was one of my biggest support systems. So I would consider it relationship. It's just very different from what everyone.
And I feel like it could, like, depending on what your love language is, or like if you look into that kind of thing, you know, depending on what your love languages are, like that could affect it. Like if your main love language was physical touch, like you're probably not somebody who wants to jump into a long distance relationship, like being physically present with that partner. If you couldn't do that, like shit, that'd make it impossible. And like long distance relationships can be a deal breaker for people too. They might just cut off the relationship when, even if you've been in it for, say, let's say you were in it for a year, Cabs, and then they're like, oh, I got to go do this work thing.
Me got to do the work thing?
Them or you. Let's say them. Let me throw you two ways. Okay. So your partner says to you, I want to go to fucking, I don't know, Brazil, and I got to go work in Brazil for 6 months. And you've only been dating for a year. What's your call?
I'm offended. That just sounds, honestly, it sounds a little bit scary to me.
Scary?
Yeah, a little scary. If I'm in a relationship
that's the scary part first.
For how long did you say?
You've been in it for 1 year, and they're saying, I'm going for 6 months. The next 6 months, I'm out.
Yeah, it seems a little scary because I don't know what's going to, 6 months is a long time, especially for a 1 year relationship.
Yeah, that's like half of what you've been in.
Now,
it would depend on that year and what has happened through that year and what type of foundation you've built. For sure. 100%. But just thinking about it off the top of my head, that sounds a little scary. I don't know what would happen after those 6 months.
Yeah, and if you're like not seeing them at all, right? That's a thing that my partner talked about before she left, was like, are things going to be different when I come back, right? And I was like, no, like probably not. We're going to be talking the whole time. Like we'll be in contact. Things won't be different. It's short enough.
That's
to,
true.
like,
I keep forgetting about the like there's still a contact.
You can still be in contact. It's just strained.
Yeah.
Right. It's not the easiest and not the most convenient to share. And I'll come back and hit you with the reverse of that in a second, to share my thing. You were talking about like being there as a support system. You're on FaceTime all the time, right, Shandy? Myself right now, where my partner is, garbage Wi-Fi. We'll be on FaceTime for like, and no bars, no signal. So can't just call.
How do you know? Like, you know that already?
100%. Like it's not there. She's in Haida, Gwaii, for people who are BC people. And so terrible Wi-Fi, a limit of 200 megabytes of Wi-Fi can be used per day by each of the staff of the working environment.
She's in Haida, Gwaii?
Yeah.
I thought she was going to the Bahamas for some reason.
Nope. I mean, that'd be cool, but no. Haida, Gwaii. So same time zone, which
Yeah.
you would think like, oh, that's not inconvenient at all. You're on the same schedules. But when we're on a FaceTime call, it's like it hurts to be on the FaceTime call.
It's just choppy.
It's choppy. You can
God.
barely see.
Yeah.
And like it'll disconnect every 10 minutes. It'll just cut out and you'll hear like the saddest thing is it disconnects, but like the video still plays for some reason for like the first 2 seconds of the disconnect. So it disconnects on her end and she like sees that I'm just frozen and I get to watch her go, oh fuck. Like, yeah, I just sit there and I get like a sad face and like again and like now I'm just like sitting there trying to reconnect again and again and again and it won't go through and then we reconnect. And so it's like when you're on FaceTime, you could have studied. Right, like you could have been doing your own thing.
Yeah.
When we're on FaceTime now, I'm focused on the FaceTime because if this thing disconnects, I got to reconnect right away. So I can't even do shit. And so that's strenuous. But anyways, I just want to throw that in there as the FaceTime dynamic. It's a bummer. But Cabs, let's say other inverse of that. So yes, it would depend on how the relationship was going and what had happened in that year. But let's say you decided I'm going away for 6 months. Would you expect your partner to stay in the relationship, or would you be okay if they said they don't want to be in it?
Again, it would be like depends on what's happened during that year.
100%.
I wouldn't feel like I'm the type of person to force that decision on someone.
Mm-hmm. So you'd be okay with them deciding either way?
I don't know if I'd be okay with it, but like
Mm.
I wouldn't want to be like, yeah, we're gonna do this. Like
Mm.
I'll still like it's still your decision, right? Can't really hold it against the person either.
Mm-hmm. It's a very mature way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Jess, your thoughts. So Cabs, you said difficult. Jess, you kind of chimed in a little bit.
I don't think I can really do it. Again, it depending on the situation, 100%. It really depends on, like I said, the situation you presented to Cabs, right? It really depends on the foundation, everything that you would have built up to then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who that person is to you at that point in time. Is the effort worth it? Is it not? Like, I think all those things kind of come into
factors.
kind of come into play. So I don't think it's so easily answered, but I don't think I could do a year apart. I think that'd be a really difficult amount of time.
Long. 3 years, Shandy. You crazy.
Yeah,
Wilding
like-
out.
And I remember counting like how much time we actually spent together, and it was kind of sad because like we spent more time away from each other than together.
I'm with you, Jess. I couldn't do it. If it's for a long term, I couldn't do it. And like it, at least starting out. And it's a hard question to answer. Like I'm thinking right now too, like if my partner today even said like, this is going to be a year that I'm gone, I don't know what I would say. I don't know what I would think. Like I would probably want to try, but I
Of
would
course.
feel fucking defeated. If it was this scenario that I'm currently in where I can barely even talk to you and I got to do this for a year, I would feel terrible.
How do you get to Haida, Gwaii? A boat?
So let me get into it.
I'm sure Reuben's thought about it.
Oh yeah.
I have looked. I'll give you a story here. 1 second. So you want to know how to get to Haida, Gwaii? So Haida, Gwaii is like take BC, right? Smack dead in the center of BC, but all the way on the west coast and on an island, right? So it's fairly far north from here. The way to get there's one of two ways. I was talking to Jess about how to do this because I said I'm going to go and visit her because she's here for a weekend in July, and we were talking about me going there for a weekend in August. I bring my mom, right? Then she gets to see Haida, Gwaii. Beautiful place. Natural beauty all around you. Anyways, so I was looking at how to get there, and there's one of two ways, and both ways lead out of Prince Rupert, also fairly far north. And so one way is to drive. That drive is 1,500 kilometers, 16 hours. And with gas at $100 a tank right now, I'd be looking at 6 fill-ups because I get about 500 kilometers on a tank. So that's $600 and a 16-hour drive, right? And then I got to take a ferry onto the island. And then from there, the lodge is only accessible by boat. So you got to get a boat around the fucking island to get to Queen Charlotte Lodge. That's one way. The other way still goes to Prince Rupert, but you take a plane instead. So I save myself the travel time, the 16 hours. It's only an hour and a half, but $850 for a plane ride. And then you got to still take that ferry, and then you got to get... Yeah.
And the ferry and the boat?
Oh,
Yeah.
Small flights are like ridiculous.
it's insane to me that it's $850 to fly in the same goddamn province. How does that make any sense? It's the cost of fuel.
Guess how much it is just to fly up to Whistler?
How much?
Like a little.
Oh, the seaplanes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How much?
those are decent.
Dude, it's like $500, $600.
What?
You're still paying a crazy amount of money. It doesn't make sense.
For some reason, I was talking to a coworker about this like a couple days ago, and they were like, it's cheaper on weekends for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
because people use it for business, right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's people use it for business because if you live up in Whistler, a lot of people do, and you have a well-paying enough business.
Yeah, they're using it to commute.
A lot of people like pilots.
I guess, man.
Right? I know my mom, being a flight attendant, I know her, like some of her friends and people that live in like Kelowna and stuff like that. That's how they go. They go plane from Kelowna, Vancouver Airport, and then Vancouver Airport to wherever your destination is.
So it's a tough.
Terrible choices. It's the lesser of two evils. And the big kicker on this one is when you get there, she only has 1 day off a week.
Oh.
So I could go for ballpark $800. Let's call it. Let's split it even. All right, maybe an average of $775, $750. I can't do math. And then I'm there for a day to spend with her. And so we both, when we were on FaceTime, choppily trying to plan that out, we both go, this doesn't sound like a great idea, does it? So I don't know that I'll be going in August unless somebody has a helicopter they want to rent me. I am officially calling for domestic flight reform. We need to change how this works.
Prepare the
But
heli-jet.
insane to me. Quinjet.
Is Haida Gwaii on like the island?
It is on. It's its own island. Haida Gwaii is an island. Yeah, I'm with you. Wouldn't do it long term, especially a scenario like this. Just can't cut it. Can't cut the cheese.
Yeah.
Cut the cheese.
Yeah.
You know, cut the cheese.
I can't cut the cheese.
Right?
Yeah, I know it means fried. Man.
Okay.
And best believe I can do that. So Shandy, earlier when you were sharing your story, you touched on another aspect, trust.
Yeah.
All right. And initial thoughts on doing a long distance relationship are just, it'd be difficult. But there are reasons why it would be difficult. One thing, it's difficult because of the actual physical distance and time. But another thing is trust, right? A lot of people, when they talk about long distance relationships, one of the biggest concerns is, do I trust this person to not wrong me while they're away, right? While we're apart, and vice versa, right? Comes back on you. Do you trust like yourself to be okay? And yeah, what do you all think? Would trust be a concern to you? Myself, in this case, using my specific example now, not a concern. She's working. She's at a working lodge, right? I know how their bedding is set up. She's in a home. She's in like a tiny little like shoebox like room.
That I would do.
With one of her friends who came with her, and they're both in the room together. Like, ain't nothing going on. They go to work. They come back. They socialize. They go back to bed. They wake up the next day. But myself, I'm not concerned about that. Right. But how about all of you? And again, Shandy, you could share maybe your own experience in the past, but Jesse and Cabs, would trust be a concern to you in a long distance relationship?
Absolutely. But I think it would still be, depending on the situation, how I would approach it. Right. If I knew this was like, if I decided to give it a chance, I personally think I would try to, I don't know if I'd do it. I'd be like, yo, listen, like we're like in, eons apart. Are you sure you don't want to be able to do your thing, right? And still experience life? Because I don't know the next time I'm going to fucking be out here. There's all this kind of stuff, right? So,
right.
And vice versa. I don't know when you're coming through. So, are you sure you don't want to still do your thing? I don't mind still talking to you and see what can happen in the future, right? If I believe it's that important. But I think maybe inviting that to, do your thing, I'll do my thing. We'll see if we can come together later in the future. Right?
Sounds like a breakup.
Sounds like going casual.
That's what
I'm gonna
yeah.
twice.
I'm sorry.
Twice in one episode, everybody.
That's the 10 o'clock one.
Sounds like you'd be going casual though. That's the way it sounds.
I think that's the way it would go. I think it'd be even opening it up to more like a open relationship and seeing what would happen there, because I think it only makes sense for you. Like for myself, I think a big thing, like you said, would be actually physically being there for one person, right? Being able to do things with that one person and not having to, I don't know, put too much effort into having to talk to that person.
I get what you're saying by that.
You
I
know
get
what
what
I
you're
mean?
saying by that. Mhm.
Like you said, you like fucking trying to talk to your girl right now is absolutely
It's
mind-boggling. Like,
stressful
exactly,
for a
it's
moment.
stressful,
When
right?
it's a good connection, we're stoked.
Exactly.
Right? Like, oh, look, it's clear. I can
But-
see you.
Well, I guess you can focus more on the little things that way, right? But
Mm.
at the same time, I think it would be, for me, if I had to put that much effort, or like you said, being across like Europe and over here and having to either stay awake extra hours before you go to
Mhm.
bed, or having to wake
Mhm.
up early and have that morning dedicated to that other person or doing something of that nature, I think would be also very stressful.
It's a
right?
commitment.
Yeah, it's a very big commitment. So
Mhm.
I think to be able to have that, you know what I mean, do your thing and have a person for you, not like, you know, don't start anything fucking crazy and we'll see what happens in the
Mhm.
future, or, you know, later down the road, if we don't think it's going to work, then we say it is what it is and we go our separate ways.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
The way that sounds is like it's very dependent on where you are in your own life too,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? Like that willingness to make that commitment, to
Yeah.
do those extra things, because it is extra work, right? There's a convenience to being in the same city when you're dating somebody,
Yeah.
right? When you're in a relationship with them. Like when she's living here, we wake up, we see each other. I go to work, I come home at lunch, she's still here. Hello. You know,
Exactly, yeah.
like, and now it's like you're making time, you're carving out time to spend, rather than the casual, like, fleeting moments, which are just as good in my eyes. Like, I like that kind of time. Right.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, like I think that being said, right? Like you can't have that kind of, even close to that kind of connection still, right?
Mhm.
Because you can't have that if your person's fucking, again, eons away, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Eons. I like it. Cab, Shandy, would trust be a concern to you?
I mean, trust wasn't a concern in my
You
previous
said, yeah.
relationship, and like the things that we did was, like like he was a great communicator, always text me back quickly. We would keep our reads on, which is kind of nice. Like if he didn't reply to me, I'd think, oh, like, okay, he's probably busy.
Right. Like if it was still undelivered.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Understood.
Our locations were always on.
Mm-hmm.
I think that really helped. He actually suggested for it to be on, and it would work out too, because like if he wouldn't reply to me and I'd check his location, like he'd be at the hospital, or, you know, like he would.
It would confirm whatever thought you might.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I get it.
Whenever he was home, like we would always be on FaceTime. Like there was no possible way there was any time to do, you know, monkey business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
No time
yeah,
for fooling around.
yeah, because like
No
he was
tomfoolery.
super busy with school.
Forcing around.
Yeah.
And then like when he's done with school, he has to go study again. So I really didn't have anything to like worry about.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Mm-hmm. That's good that you had that experience.
Yeah.
You know, I would hate to be stuck in a long distance relationship where you are concerned about trust.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
I
no,
hate to
no,
have
no.
committed to this thing and then like something like happens one night, you know, you don't get a response when they go out or
Yeah.
whatever. And
Yeah.
now like
A
the
shifty
trust is
snap
ruined.
or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. What the fuck was that? What?
Now you're like messaging all of
Whose
your
hand was that?
friends.
Who's man? Yeah, it could go south pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
You know? Yeah. Turn
Big
for the
blow up.
worse.
Now you don't get to sleep, and again, there's all that extra effort that you have to put in to try to get a hold of them or track them down and make sure that they're okay or what the hell's going on.
What the
right?
hell is going on?
What in darnation?
Jess made a really good point before you guys got here when we were sitting on the balcony. Is like if something happened to them, and it was more of like from a point of care,
Yeah.
but I think this applies to a point of trust too. You were saying like if something physically happened,
Yeah,
like what
like
if they were injured or something
Yeah.
like that, or like something like seriously went wrong, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
But then the other thing too is from a trust standpoint, what if something happened?
yeah.
You can't do anything
anything
about
about
it. Like, you're
You can't even
still
prove
fucked,
anything
man.
about it.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
"God
There's
damn
no
it."
proof.
Yeah.
Now you're definitely driving up there,
Just he said, she said, man, and you're,
and you're
fucking fighting.
surprising them.
Oh, I just wanted to come and see how you're doing.
Exactly. Took the week off. I don't know.
Starts pulling out all the drawers. Oh, these are some nice socks here. I don't remember those.
Start trashing the place.
You think you can fucking hide them from me?
Is it under the pillows?
Oh man, fuck.
That's some real psycho shit.
Yeah, big time, big time, big time. We don't advise you doing any of this, everybody.
Unless Describe the right feeling.
So, Cavs, how would you feel about trust in a relationship that is long distance?
Again, scared.
Obviously, scared.
Scared, man. I feel like I was just thinking about it earlier today, and I was like,
wait, what are you scared about? Scared that you'll do something, or scared that she'll do something?
Or what? Yeah, just what are you scared of?
Scared of the boogeyman?
I think I was scared of both, maybe both. But I feel like, because I was thinking about it earlier today, and I was wondering why would I be scared if there was a long-term thing, and I would just fall on myself, right? Like, be more your own insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because would I really trust myself 6 months after 1 year? Can't honestly say yes.
What about 6 months after like 7 years?
Yeah,
Hell, that might sound like a vacation at that point.
Yeehaw! Let me help you pack, honey.
How long you want to make it? 7 months? Yeah. Scared though, eh? That's your initial thought around it, would be scared.
Well, I think it's 6 months after like 7 years. I mean, can't even picture myself being in that type of relationship 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
I must really like
Who the
this
hell
girl.
am I after that? I think
it,
I'd be able to do it after 7 years though.
yeah.
It's okay.
You saying that you're scared reminds me of the thing that AJ said about like one of his biggest insecurities, and he was talking about like a quote they had heard, which is like, you don't trust that someone's not going to wrong you. You trust that if they did, you would be okay from it, right? And I think that applies to that too. Is like you can have that fear that something will happen, but you're right, it is back on you. Like, are you going to be okay if something did happen?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you think you would be okay?
I think so.
I feel like me knowing you, I have a different thought about it.
Yeah, I think it would just be like a really rough time in the beginning, as it usually is with any sort of breakup or anything like that. It's really rough in the beginning.
My fear
After
for
that,
you,
it's fine,
because I love you, Cabs, would be that it would push you even further away from relationships if someone did that to you.
Probably,
I think so.
If someone ever wronged you, I will kill them with my bare hands.
Do
not mark my words. I would never say that. I would never say that about somebody, but like theoretically I would kill them.
Thanks, man.
Theoretically.
For you.
Hypothetically,
theoretically,
yeah.
methodically. Yeah. All right. So we've talked about trust. We've talked about initial thoughts around this kind of thing, and we brushed on time a little bit, like the commitment to time, jumping into FaceTimes, things like that. What would your expectation of time be? My example here, coming from living with my partner to her going away for 107 days, I see her every day here. I see her multiple times every day here. And so my expectation going into this is that I'm going to FaceTime with her at least once a day, if not twice, because that feels like satisfactory for me as far as like meeting that same expectation from what I was used to. Like, it's keeping things in rhythm for me to at least talk to her once a day, ideally twice, at least right now. And shit, I don't know, maybe a month in, I'm going to feel like, oh, this is a bit taxing. Let's drop it down to just one, and we'll communicate about that, right? Like, see how this feels. Let's just do recaps at night, whatever it might be, right? So
even that just sounds strenuous.
Yeah, like you're putting a schedule on it.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that idea because it's not as natural.
Yeah.
Right? It's not as free flowing. It happens because you have to make time. You're on your schedules. It's adult shit.
It is adult shit. You got to be ready for that.
Fucking terrible, man.
Yeah.
Anyways,
how long ago did you find out that she was gonna be? I remember you said it a while ago.
Like 3 months back, maybe 2 months ago, 2 to 3 months ago.
A little time to mentally prepare.
Yeah,
quite a bit of time to mentally.
Even then, like, you're not ready for it. Like, once she went away, like I think it was like 2 weeks prior. Like, that's when I first started crying about it. Like we were just like sitting, and we were just like, we were watching movies. I think we had smoked a little bit outside, right? We come in, we're watching movies. We're just hanging out, right? And we're talking. We're having a nice conversation,
having a nice time.
We have these great lively conversations sometimes, and I love it. And we're just sitting, and we're sitting doing nothing but talking to each other for like an hour, right? And at the end of it, like we just got quiet, and it was like, we're not gonna see each other for a while. And I started to cry. And it just kind of hit me in that moment, and it sucked. And then I was saying to you that when I dropped her off at the airport, right, I was crying on the way home, right? I come home and the house is fucking empty, and it's like Evan was away. He was on vacation. He's back now, and it's just like you went from this feeling where every day she's here, and now nothing.
Yeah.
And now look
Right.
at yourself.
And I look at myself.
Feeling great.
So, I mean, but the couple days in, it already felt a lot better. This is only day 4, and it feels fine. I'm not feeling like crying today, but I'm sure there will be tougher days as this goes on.
May I ask?
Right? Yeah.
Any concerns? Biggest concern, if any?
My biggest concern, and I told her because we talked about this before. So, we actually I did a little project for her. I filmed a couple podcasts just for her. Some of me like reading a book so that because she has no Wi-Fi, so like she has these just downloaded on her iPad and she can listen to me. But then the way I showed this to her was I said, let's film one of you and me. So her last night here, we sat down and we sat on the couch and we just talked for a bit, and she asked what my concern was, and I asked what her concerns were. My biggest concern was that she's going to be okay. I wanted to make sure that she's having a good time because she's stepping into this environment with people that she doesn't know, right? And that she's not familiar with. She doesn't have her usual, like she's not always the most extroverted person, but these are all people that are going to be like wanting to go. You know what I mean? Like everybody's here trying to work, and I just want to make sure that she was going to be okay. That's my concern, is that she's not going to have a good time or that she's going to feel like too homesick, stuff like that. She's going to want to come back. I just want her to be happy with the choice that she went. That was my concern.
Very thoughtful.
Yeah. I'm not concerned about anything else because it's going to be fine. I just want her to have a good time while she's gone, right? I think overall, this is a good experience for her. She loves nature. She gets to be there for all that time. It's sweet. Anyways, all of you, FaceTime commitments, like what would you be looking at? What would you expect from a partner?
Well, what I expected with my ex back then was, we'd have to FaceTime every day.
Have to.
Yeah, have to. Because, I don't know. It was just, I felt like it was normal that I would, FaceTime him. But I guess this doesn't really apply to you because the Wi-Fi is so choppy. Terrible. We would just do our own thing, but be on FaceTime. Yeah. Like he would do his own thing. I'd do my own thing. But just like have him there and just like
look
wave.
over once in a while.
Wave. Yeah.
Make a funny face, wait for them to notice.
Yeah.
Like that, right? Fart a little.
Yeah.
Do you hear that one?
Take him to the washroom with you.
Yeah.
Man, it stinks in here. Yeah. Every day though.
Every day.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm with you. So you would agree then, Caps?
Whoa.
I mean, you said that makes sense.
Yeah, I know. Probably, every day.
Yeah.
I'm not really a big FaceTime guy, but who knows in that type of situation.
But what's funny though, when you say every day, like unless you're living with a person here, you don't necessarily see each other every day either. You know what I mean? Where when you've dated people in the past where you've been dating in the same city but not living together, did you FaceTime them on the days that you didn't see them?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The relationship that I'm in right now currently, like my partner and I, we see each other like almost every day. Like if he doesn't sleep or if like he'll sleep over and then like we'll just take turns sleeping over at each other's houses. So like we've technically been together like since forever, and then like because he was working today and I was off, when he got home he FaceTimed me.
No, that's cute.
Like whenever we're apart, like while he's gaming or whatever, while he's eating, we'll just FaceTime each other because we're so clingy.
I used to hate that. I would do that with my ex and she'd be like, are you gonna FaceTime me like tonight? I'd be like, yeah, sure. And I'd have it on when we're like playing COD.
Yeah, like I'll be on FaceTime while he's playing like Apex or whatever with his friends. I don't know, I like it. Like even though he doesn't like, I'm like literally in the corner of his screen, doesn't even see me sometimes. It's just a presence thing. Yeah.
Right. It's just knowing that they're there.
Yeah.
You can talk if you want to. You can see where they're at. No funny business.
Horsing around.
Jess, how about you? What would you expect from a partner? And we've talked about this being a difficult thing, but
I think I don't know. I don't know if I'd be that. I think it depends again on the situation where we are in that relationship, really, right? Especially if how long have we been in the situation? How long have we been seeing each other, right? Because if it's something fairly new, I'm sure I'm gonna message them like every day, try to FaceTime them every day, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think I would make them FaceTime me. Like I know I have days where I'm just like, fuck, I'm just
too tired for it.
Yeah, I don't even. It's like I've become the worst texter. I don't even feel like You know what I mean?
This guy falls asleep on COD. Man.
Exactly. Like sometimes I just sleep. You know what I mean? I'm just done with the day. I don't even want to talk to people, right? So I just, you know, I go home, go into bed, or fucking watch TV until I fall asleep or something, right? So, I don't think I'd force that on anybody. I don't think I'd, you know, make anything mandatory. But again, I think it'd really depend on where I am with them and how I'd feel about their presence around me, I guess.
It's funny you say that because, like, the way I'm feeling about this one, where we're struggling with the FaceTimes, a part of me knows that if this keeps up feeling this way, I talked earlier, like right now I'm expecting like 1 or 2 a day. I definitely expect maybe 1 later. I might be okay the further we go on. Hey, let's skip a day once in a while. You know, like this is just so annoying. And if we've got shit to do, like we got shit to do, you know.
Maybe she finds a good Wi-Fi spot.
Then let's go. You know, I'll FaceTime all day.
Exactly.
But it's damn choppy. I'm sorry, baby. I love you. Cool. So we'd expect that maybe daily, and I think that that's normal too. I think that that's how most people would probably approach this, unless you're in that like 7-year and now you're gone for 6 months. It's more of a vacay. I don't need a FaceTime every day. Oh, what'd you eat tonight? Nothing good, honey.
I made mac and cheese and hot dogs.
That was one of her concerns with me being here on my own, because she would like cook things, right? When she's here, she would make meals for us.
Yeah, so you've been snapping some pretty good looking.
We've been snapping some good food when she was here.
Lean cuisine? I'm
gonna be buying lean cuisines tomorrow.
That's right, buddy.
Literally, my plan for the week is I'm gonna meal prep my chicken, broccoli, and potatoes for my lunches, and then I'm gonna buy 5 lean cuisines for the next 5 days of work. So that after work, I go to the gym, I come home, lean cuisine. I'm fucking winning. I got no problem with it. That's the thing. I don't mind this. I don't mind this lifestyle. It's not a great one, but
Can you make more cooking with Rubes?
I can make more cooking with Rubes for it. I don't mind that.
Deal.
Little mini series.
That's absolutely.
Maybe we should launch a Patreon just for some cooking with Rubes.
I'm telling you, dude. People would pay for that content for sure.
I don't know what kind of people, but people.
I'll end things off here with the last question, which is very simple. Bottom line, would you do it today in your life if you're in a relationship? Would you do it?
It's funny you ask that, because my mom has always been encouraging me to do travel nursing, which like travel nurses make just disgusting amount of money. But the thing is, like, it would be in the States and you're there for a contract. So I don't know. The nice thing is that like I could always bring my partner along with me because we do the exact same thing.
But would you even want that?
Exactly, right? Or is this going to be the vacation?
I think it depends with how long.
Mm-hmm.
Like 3 months. I wouldn't.
Wouldn't?
I wouldn't want to, but I think I would do it.
I'm in that. I'm in this for 3 months.
3.5 months right now.
3.5 months.
107
I have
days.
to do this. Now there's a break in the middle. Yeah.
How important is the relationship at that point?
Exactly.
Right?
I think that's the question.
Yeah.
Like, does the importance of this relationship outweigh the importance of this career path you might take, or whatever it might be?
I think it'd really depend. I think it would depend on multiple situations. Is this whatever you're about to do? Like, if it's me going somewhere, right? And whatever am I about to do, is it going to be an experience of a lifetime? And do I want to be held down to...
Why'd I say it like that? Sorry.
Do I want to be held down to spending a lot of that time into that part of the relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
The connection, trying to stay, connected with each other. Or is this something that I want to be out and able to be free on, you know what I mean? And not have to be tied down to anything, right? Am I going for work purposes, right? Am I like, what am I doing there? What's going to be the sole purpose? I think would be the biggest thing. Because I don't know, like if I'm moving to Australia, because it's something I've always wanted to do, but that's not something I'm looking, or that's not anything that my partner is looking for, or I'm looking to have a partner with me, then I don't think that's, you know what I mean? It's probably not the best thing
I get
to
what
do,
you're saying.
you know what I mean?
Like, that's not a good enough reason
on
its own to decide to do a long distance relationship at that point.
Yeah, because
should we proceed?
Exactly, right? Because if this is something that I want for my life, right, and this is something that's going to be away for a long time. If I want to move to Australia, and the person that I'm with, that's not something they want in their life, they just don't want to be anywhere near Australia, it's not. I don't think it's ever going to work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if this is someone that you even really, really care about, obviously it's not going to be that relationship, right? Of course, you could try to stay in contact and hopefully something happens in the future, I think is what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is ever something that I could do long term.
Bottom line, you wouldn't do it. I think that you raise an excellent point there, Cabs, of balancing the work versus like a career thing. Using my partner's example one more time, it's not a career thing, but it is a once in a lifetime thing, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
She studied environmental sciences, right? Environmental studies. And so she loves nature. She cares about it. She wants to make the planet better, all that kind of stuff. She's the recycling police at home here. Make sure everything goes in the right spot. When I throw something out, she goes, Bubba, that's supposed to go in there. She gets mad at it. And so she looked at this as an opportunity to be around nature, right? Like this was like a huge thing, and Haida Gwaii being so protected as it is and so uncommon for people to go there unless for reasons like work. Like she luckily had a reason to go and work there. That's a once in a lifetime, for the sake of conversation here, opportunity.
Yeah.
Right. So I think like that was justified, and that was part of our conversation. I was like, that's a sweet chance. Like, how often are you going to get to do this? You should take this. When she was asking initially, should I do this? How would you feel about it? Right. But if it was just like an elective thing, like, hey, I want to go spend a summer there, it looks kind of cool. I'd kind of be like, how cool does it look?
Yeah. What kind of fish we love?
Yeah, like, what's the deal here? You don't even.
You gotta sell me on that first.
Yeah. Let's get a little more.
Come on, let's just go up to Squamish. Let me show you a couple things. Like,
I think bottom line for me, to answer my own question, I would not do it longer than like max 6 months. I would have a serious conversation about what the relationship would change to. Would it end? What else would happen if it was longer than that? I could be swayed otherwise, to be clear.
yeah,
Like I
fair
wouldn't
enough.
be firm
Depends
on
the
it.
situation, right?
It's just I would start with one foot kind of saying,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that that's something I want to do. It would have to be one. It does depend on the situation, Jess.
Yeah.
It would have to be one hell of a fucking reason to be gone for that long for us to deal with the struggles that there are in a long distance relationship for that long. Maybe if the Wi-Fi is better, maybe I wouldn't care. Yeah. Cabs, would you do it? Shand, would you do it?
No more longer than 3 months.
Yeah,
3 months, eh?
I think I would agree.
If anything longer than 3 months, then I have to see them every other weekend or every weekend if possible.
There's a lot of flights.
Can I just throw something in the mix right now?
Yeah.
Just really quick. I think I would also change my mind if there was different forms of communication.
Such as metaverse.
Well, no, but like
The old
just
reach around.
just being being able to, like, because right now, FaceTime calls, that's
Yeah.
pretty much all we have for connections, right? But if I don't know, if let's say 10 years from now there's other ways of connecting via VR, stuff like that,
Mhm.
right? Where it might be a little more interactive and it can be a little easier.
You walk into a room.
I don't know,
They're
like you said,
there.
because you said
oh my god,
you
that's
said
actually so crazy.
you said
I
that
think
y-
I'd cry.
you said the other day, like you said you and her were just sitting across from each other and just chatting, right?
Yeah.
So that could be a different way
If
of
it could feel like
communication.
that. I
Exactly,
get
right?
what you're saying.
Like you said, you guys
Yeah.
used to just prop each other up and just be there, right?
Mhm.
For each other. So imagine being, so you know what I mean? So I think right now, just with what we have, I don't think it's possible, you know what I mean? But like in the future, I don't know if that could change. I don't know if a long distance relationship would not really feel like a long distance relationship depending on the ways of communication that we have.
This is an excellent idea, Jess.
It is.
Sorry, I
it
just
honestly
wanted to-
is.
And I also, the other day when she was still here, I said to her, and I said, I think I should have a Twitter just for moments like this. I said, and I texted it to you, Cabs, I don't think people use the word excellent enough. Anyways, that's an excellent idea, Jess.
Thanks, man.
I think it's
Imagine.
maybe used a little too much.
Whatever, man. Imagine on a table, there's like a fucking, like a window, right? Like a door, like a just an arch,
Yeah.
right? And like you look at it and it projects like a hologram out that way. And what it is, it's on her end, it's the camera that's showing her sitting there. And then yours has a camera that on her end projects a hologram out the other way. And you're just sitting there talking to each other. That would be fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right?
I'd be okay with that.
That's pretty
it's
cool.
it's a different way of being able to communicate.
That's
right?
true.
So I think right now with the ways of communication that we have in regards to a long distance or any kind of relationship that's a long distance, whether it's a romantic relationship, family, anything like that,
Mhm.
you're only going to have so much or so many ways to be able to communicate
That
with
is
each
so
other, right?
true.
So I don't think until that can be a more broad term of what communication can be long distance, I don't think I can do it. How about that?
I like it.
Boom.
No more than 3 months. You agreed, Cabs. No more than 3 months.
Probably, yeah.
All right. That's where we all stand on this. The reason why I had this conversation today is, of course, because I'm starting this one for a little bit. It's only a set amount of time. It's on my mind. So I wanted to talk about it today. So I appreciate all of you coming in and listening to my thoughts about it, sharing your thoughts about it. And I thought this was a nice little conversation. And I think that's $1 billion idea, Jess.
It honestly
you gotta
is.
call
Ruben's
up.
sold.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sold on that.
He needs it immediately.
It's like that episode of Futurama where they all go into the internet and then Fry pretends
yeah.
like he doesn't know what it is, right? And it's all like, if we had something like that where it'd be just crazy, where you guys could go into like a different world, like you said, like the metaverse or whatever it is. I think the world would be a different place in regards to long distance communication.
I've hated like the idea of the metaverse up until this moment. Now I see the potential.
Dude,
now I
it'd be
see
so
what they're
crazy.
thinking about. I get it.
We could chill at TCC, guys.
Bro, man.
That's all I want to get back to. Just
Little 3D model TCC. You guys want pook tonight? Everybody fucking puts on their headsets. Hey, what's up,
It'd be
guys?
like chilling in the Discord, but it'd be like around the round table.
That would
you know
be
what I mean?
really cool. That would be really cool. I would agree. And I'll try and summarize everything we've said today for everybody listening and watching at home. Long distance relationships are hard. I don't think that there's any easy way to put it. And I don't think anybody who's been in one is like, yo, this is sick. I want to do this forever. Right? I think that we've touched on a few key points there. Trust, the physical distance, time zone differences, maintaining like a schedule of communication, feeling like the need for that presence with that person. There's so much that goes into this. And like, how long have you been in the relationship? Was it worth it to start anyways? How long are you willing to go through this thing? There's so many things to consider if you're going to jump into a long distance relationship. I would never recommend it for somebody that can avoid it. If it's an option not to do it and it's worth it not to do it, don't do it. But if it's worth it to do it, absolutely do it. Trust your partner. Let them experience the things that are best for them to experience. Or if it's you going, do what's right for your life, right? You should never inhibit what your partner does both ways, right? You guys should be enriching each other's lives. It's not making it worse. And I think that that's kind of the key message that we should take away from this. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's hard to do, but with the right person for the right reasons, you'll do it.
Well said.
Well said.
Very
So
well said.
I appreciate all you coming here.
Thanks for having us.
Next week, we'll be back again. I think next week, with the timing of this, it's going to be a little Father's Day episode. We've got a dad coming in, and he's been on the podcast before, but he's a new dad. So anyways, we will see you all next week. If everybody liked this episode, or if you're watching, if you like this episode, leave a like, leave a comment, do all that kind of stuff. And of course, subscribe. And we'll see you then. Peace.